Okay, today is Tuesday, the 18th of February, and hopefully all of you can hear me okay on here. I put the little pad on there so it doesn't sound like I'm lisping too bad or that I'm spitting in the mic or something. I try to keep it as well as I can for you. Uh, I thought today I'd speak a little bit about gifts again. And yeah, I know it should be about wore out, but it's not because everybody's still having tiff over it, and it's hitting all the different channels out there that, or at least the ones that I'm listening to. Let's put it that way. And I know the other day somebody said in there that I pointed out it was jealousy causing the problem, and actually what I said was it was not jealousy. Okay. But I thought, well, look, let me explain a little bit about this whole thing. And I'm looking at it as an outsider. It doesn't really affect me personally. Well, I shouldn't say that because there are people out there that I consider friendly. They're fighting with each other, and they're, both sides are friends of mine. And I hate to see them fight or create lifetime. It's not hatred, but dislike of each other. Now, several people out there that have been on my channel, we've agreed to disagree. No big deal. We both are, we both. There's more than just two of us, obviously. But anyway, for the most of the time, we express our opinion and then we leave it at that. We don't do a lot of arguing about it, and then we go on our way. We may do a little explanation, but we don't harangue each other because why do that? We both understand that we're not going to be the same or alike in any way like that. Okay? So we allow each other to have the freedom of expressing themselves. Now, there's others that come into my channel that just get mean about it, or they start calling names, and I go ahead and get them off my channel because I'm not here to listen to that crap. I don't need it. I don't make any money off people coming into my channel, so it's not a monetary thing. I don't have to worry on that end. And, I never intend for it to be that way either. Now, what I want to talk about is we have somebody out there that has come along and gives out generous gifts. And as far as giving the gifts out, I think a pat on the back is in order for that. I really do. A lot of people have been helped. And as you look at the channels, most of them will agree that they're happy to see the people in their chats get awarded memberships. Now, obviously, the channel creator ends up getting the money from the memberships, along with YouTube taking 30% of anything they collect. So it isn't all in the pocket of the creator, by the way. And hopefully all of you understand that. YouTube takes their cut before they send it out. In other words, the money goes to YouTube first, and then they disperse it back to the creator. All right. Now, I'm sure the person that gives the gifts out understands that as well. And it sounds like it's a great amount of money to send somebody $100 and right off the bat, $30 out of the 100 is taken by YouTube. And you say, well, what did they do for it? Well, they gave us this venue to use, and they pay the cost of transmitting it, creating it, keeping the software out there for us to be able to use. They provide a lot of it for that 30%. That if you're out there creating, it would be a little hard to start your own complete network, okay? Because you have a lot of expensive equipment. You probably never get reimbursed because it takes a lot of people to make that reimbursement happen. All right. So let's get back to the main thing that I wanted to talk about, and that is the person who has given out these generous gifts. And sometimes the generosity can be stretched a little bit, because if for any reason a person feels that when they gave a gift to somebody, that person is obligated back in some way, they call that strings, well, then it's not a gift anymore. It is a hiring process. You expect a return on it, okay? Now, a lot of them out here will tell you, no, they didn't put a string on it and didn't expect anything in return, and I believe that when they say it. And they believe it. What I'm seeing in the chat, though, is the gift giver seems to make remarks about people that he don't particularly care for. And there's one or two out there that I've seen get nipped that, quite frankly, I'm friendly with them, but they're getting beat up on because they bite back. Now, it started with a gift that was given and questioned. And it was more than one gift, by the way. It was multiple gifts that were there for a reason, okay? And just to cut the BS out, the reason was to help in either putting the fence up for a family in Otter Creek or helping them with their house, getting the inside completed. And it takes a lot of hard work by everybody involved. First of all, you have to have the permission of the people that are going to receive it. And I'm talking about the family. They have to agree to it, because if they don't, then the gift isn't going to be given, period. People don't have to accept gifts if they don't want them. In most instances, they're very happy for it and receive it and put it where it's supposed to be. Now, one of them that the gift was going through, the creator of the channel, and you know, there's no reason to hold back on that either. All of us that I'm talking about know Lisa for sure. And I call her the creator out there with the big heart, because she does have a big heart. And I've never questioned it, and I won't question what she's doing out there with the finances, because I know in my heart, okay, that she's doing the right thing from day one. Otherwise, I wouldn't be listening to her channel. She has a husband with a big heart as well, and he goes along with the things that she's doing and helps. In other words, she's out there doing these things, and her husband, Gabe, comes along to assist her. Now, that's a pretty good team, don't you think? So, this person that's giving the gifts out gave enough out to get things started, and things like the fence is completed. And we start in on the house, and I say we, it's not me, okay? But the house is getting started. And it takes time. You have to make sure everything's in place. It doesn't matter where it's permits, materials, manpower, all the things that it takes to put a building in order so that you can someday take up residency in it. And because of the amount of scrutiny that's on this project, it makes it a lot harder to complete, because at every step somebody's there to try to stop you from going down the path of completion. Now, for whatever reason, the guy that was given the gifts, if it is a guy, I don't know if it's a guy or a woman or anything else. They've never explained themselves, as far as I know, on the channel. They may have explained to a few of the people that he's corresponding with. For whatever reason, nobody ever came forward. But anyway, there was a rift between Lisa and this guy called David. And I'm not talking about Super Dave, okay? We're talking about the guy that's giving the gifts, the financial gifts, monetary. And he asked her to do something she couldn't do at that moment. And I don't know if he just is, wants everything click, click, click. If he expected that kind of stuff, he should have never given the gift in the first place, because people don't just jump when you click your fingers. Matter of fact, if anything, that stops them from working with you. Now, most of you are like I am. You have complete trust in Lisa, but you have no trust in this giver, especially once he started his attack. Because from that moment on, it seemed like he was mad with Lisa. He accused her of blocking him. He accused her of giving him false information on an email address. The email is in her webpage on her channel. So it's not a big deal. The different people correspond with her all the time. She has not blocked him. She has said so. She has had other people send the email address to him so that he can utilize it, and has chose not to. And I think he got butthurt. Another channel came out there and raked him over the coals for good reason, because he was jumping to conclusions without having proof of any kind. And the heck of it is that all the proof in the world would have been given to him had he settled down long enough to let Lisa get the information together and get with him. And he wanted it done out here in the open on this thing right here. And there was no reason to do something like that because of the amount of finances and the amount of people that are actually giving, because it's not just one person doing it. Some people, not only do they not want to be noticed, they want to keep it private, because most people that give gifts keep it private between the donor and the receiver. Like I say, those are heart-given gifts. Over the years, I've given a lot that are heart-given. Never stood up and said, hey, this is what I did give. It was just between myself and the person that received it and the good Lord. Now, in all those years, I never asked the person to prove that they spent the money in a certain way. If I seen a need and gave, I trusted them to take care of it. Otherwise, I wouldn't give it in the first place. Now, I'm not sure why David chose this approach, but then right away he jumped on another channel while Lisa was on it, on this other channel, during an auction, and started bringing up this fact again, attacking her on another channel while this other person was trying to auction off things or give away things. And it can be very embarrassing, and I'm sure Lisa didn't understand what was going on at the time. And she was getting ready to do another show pretty quick, so she switched off from that and went to bring her channel up, because she had already put the time out for the people that were following her channel. So she was getting these little surprise nip and tuck type deals from David on these other channels. And it involved other people. People got mad. And they went back. Of course, they asked Lisa, what are you going to do? Lisa's not going to do anything about it. I mean, she didn't start the fight. She tried to end it, but couldn't. In other words, it's open end because the guy refuses to say or do anything about it. As far as I know, Lisa still doesn't have an idea what's going on. I certainly don't. And neither do most of you, if any. Everybody has their own ideas. And so this thing is floating up there in the air. Well, the problem is the people who follow Lisa's channel also follow these other channels because they had something in common. And all of a sudden, you've got two factions out there. Now, this guy, David, was good enough to give memberships to the people that were out there following each of these channels. And I watched it one night on Super Dave's channel. Almost everybody in there, I'm assuming, got a membership. This happened over 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago, whatever it was. So it benefited the people that watch Super Dave. It benefited the YouTube, and it benefited Super Dave. And everybody knows Super Dave. He's honest fella, a young fella. He does a good job on his channel, doing everything he can to do things the right way. And he's been attacked over the years and doesn't deserve this turmoil going on in his channel for sure. But yet, a little bit of biting goes on in there too. And Dave is, super against fights within his channel. He doesn't want it. He tries to do what his channel was designed for, and that's to be a reporter of things out there of interest so that we can all watch it. And it's unfair to bring these backbiting things to that channel. Okay. But what happens is, David, it seems like every once in a while you have to get out there and make a bite. And you get a reaction. And that stirs the pot because the person that you're biting has a lot of friends they've built up over time over all these channels. Like I say, most of the channels, the same circle or group goes around from one channel to the next. Well, most of the people that receive the gifts, they'll tell you there was no strings to my gift. And I actually, when I look at it, even though nobody wants to admit it, there is a string. It's a string from your heart. Not you, David, from their heart. Because as far as they're concerned, it was given from you to them with no strings. But they feel somewhat obligated to help you out because here they are trying to defend you against somebody that's been a friend. Because the friend got bit and is biting back. Now as it is, of course, one of them has come more to the forefront. And so they become a focal point that everybody is pointing at, for and against. At that point, then feelings are getting hurt pretty bad. Everybody's butt hurt. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes to be accused of anything. And I'm sure you don't, David, whoever you really are. I have no idea. Really don't even know if you're really from another country. I'm assuming you're from the England, but I don't know that for a fact. I've never talked to you. I have an opinion of you, and I would hate to put my whole opinion out there because at this moment, it's not a good opinion. Now, as far as taking sides, I try to look out there and offer advice rather than saying, hey, this is the way it should be or that's the way it should be. It's a matter of, I don't know about you, David. I don't know why you don't man up and say, all right, I'm going to sit down with Lisa, and her and I are going to settle this. And even though it won't be any of you people's business, when we're done settling it, everything starts all over. It's all fresh. Because you came in fresh, right? And you were giving gifts out, and people were patting you on the back. Everybody did. They didn't hate you. Right now you're accusing people of hating you because of the things they're saying about you, but they're repeating almost the same verbiage that you used on them, or a few of them. What you're forgetting is, if you go after one, you've got 30 or 40 that are pissed off at you over it. That's not fair to you or them. They don't deserve to have a reason to fight just because you came in there and gave a few people something. I think it was generous to come in the first place and do that. I think it was disingenerous to get into these little fights. I think you were wrong to go after Lisa. I don't think she deserved it. And I think you're being a jerk about it. That's my opinion. Now, I was tempted, really tempted, to put one of those little things up there and have an interview, a pretend interview with you. But I thought, why should I do that? That's just going to make the situation probably worse. Why not be direct? Because that's what I'm being. I'm being direct today. Yeah. And I hopefully it doesn't come off as hateful. Because it's not meant that right now. It's just not. I would like to see you settle it. It doesn't mean that you have to kiss and make up. I would think that would be the wrong analogy. I think that the intent of helping a family out probably ended up being hurt out of the whole deal. I really do. And if your initial intent was to help this family out through Lisa, are you against helping this family out now because you and Lisa can't get along? She really is held back. She's trying very best to not be judgmental against you. And that, I guess, I wonder why you are unforgiving against something that never existed in the first place. If you want to snap your fingers so that people follow in behind you, I guess you better hire them and give them a 1099 at the end of the year, because that's the only way you're going to get people to follow you is if they're hired and that's their job to do, is to follow your every wish. Well, I don't know what else to say about the situation. I wish everybody the best. The one thing I will tell everybody out there is this. If you're offered a gift, there's two ways to look at it. Don't look at a gift horse in the mouth. In other words, if somebody offers you something, take it. You can analyze it later. The other thing is, be wary of strangers bearing gifts. And the analogy behind that, or the meaning, is that there may be some strings of some kind. And it may be nothing more than a character witness. They gave you something and didn't expect anything, nor did they ask anything of you. In other words, they gave it to you out of the goodness of their heart. Most of the people out there, I would say, from my opinion, received the gifts that you gave, and you have made nothing to them about a string. I really believe that they received the gift and with no expectations at that time. But when time goes on and you give of yourself, which for you, when you're giving up the money, from what I can see, you're giving of yourself. In other words, the money is part of you. And you're expecting somebody to give you be a character witness for you. And that in itself ends up with this fighting that's going on in the channels. You give life to these fights. And I know you're saying, well, they're calling you names. Yeah, they are. It is in reaction. The initial fight came way, way back when you attack somebody that is extremely well-liked, well thought of, and had jumped on this thing to help somebody out. And you jumped in there to help out as well. And then jumped on that person. The very person who took everything they had, their spare time, coordinating and making sure that all these things come true for that family. Wouldn't have happened without her. And a lot of it wouldn't have been paid off without you. So here we have the two most responsible people knocking heads, except one of them doesn't know why. So the beating is coming from the other person. They won't stop. That person that's doing that, David, is you. And if you want to know why why you were getting the feeling people hated you, That is the reason. And I can tell you right now, they don't hate you. They don't understand why you did it. I don't. Lisa don't understand it, I'm sure. Unless you've, since in the last day or two, you've went over there and settled whatever it is between you and Lisa. I stayed back out of it most of the time because I don't want to ruin it for anybody either. I don't want to see you cut and run and take off and hate this whole world the rest of your life. You know, we've got a lot of people out there that were involved in this mutual, let's take care of this thing. You seem to feel that you don't like another channel creator out there called Jeremy. And the channels out there all had a problem with Jeremy at one time or another. And you seem to use that as a reason to visit and give gifts. And yet the very thing that supposedly that you stand for, in other words, helping these people out and being generous with them because you have a common thought that they do, and that is that apparently you're mad at Jeremy. And I question that somewhat because what you're doing is you're destroying the very channels that are doing the bidding of the thing that you say you want the most. So hopefully you understand why I'm talking to you. And whether you listen or not, I don't know. You may not. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people come back and say, well, I watched Ray today, and boy, he sure was raking you over the coals, David. And but hopefully you have enough balls to come in here and just listen to this. And you can always make a comment down here. And I'm more than willing to go live with you on somebody's show. We'll just talk this out if you want, no problem. And you can tear me apart on that show if you want. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not here to receive any gifts from you whatsoever. I would like to see the problem solved, and I would like to see things go back to the norm that it was. And people that I call friends, I don't want to see them fighting. I mean, I didn't cause the fighting, but because of my opinions, some of them are going to get mad at me. Not because of me. My nature hasn't changed at all. I'm not the one giving or receiving on either end. I'm just a person out there that thinks that there's a better way to settle all of this. So if you listen and you have a heart at all, see, I can't imagine you not listening and not having a heart if you were so generous with all those gifts. I've made how I feel on the different channels. And I was even a couple of channels I had mods get after me. And I had decided that it's better for me not to get on those channels and say anything because I don't want to be a cause of disruption for those creators. They worked hard to get those channels up and running. And they deserve better than that. They deserve better than that from you and me, David. For whatever reason that you're going out doing some of these things. Be the big person on it. Back off. Watch the people back off. They will immediately. They didn't. The only reason anybody went after you is because of the things you said about Lisa, or said to her, or insinuated. Think about it a little bit. Most people in there are forgiving that are on here. And I'm not too sure why you can't be forgiving as well. I've had people tear on me a couple times. And I've had people get on here and say, goodbye, sucker. They hate, I'll never come back. I'll never listen to you again. And I just say, well, when you feel different, come on back. And some of them have come back. Some of them I didn't like what they said, so I erased them off from there and then put them back on so that they could put their comments in there. Everybody does things from time to time where they're too quick on the trigger. Now, I'm no different than anybody else when it comes to doing that. But everybody has an opinion, and they have a right to that opinion. It's a free country. as long as we follow each other's societal rules, we should be okay. And the ones out there that we've agreed to just disagree with each other, we're getting along fine. We made that agreement between us. We said, well, we won't attack each other. We just don't have the same opinion. And David, don't you agree with isn't that pretty much okay? Because we don't need this kind of stuff going on. And the people that get hurt out there are good people. Do you really want friends against friends? I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. If you have a heart as big as what it seems like because of I'm telling you, you made a lot of people happy. And I'm not sure why you want to be a party to the people making them unhappy, making them fight with each other. Initially, I thought you were out there maybe to break the people up in the channel, to destroy the channel, or get disfaction going between channels itself, or to just destroy the whole group. And to this day, I still don't know what your intent is. Well, with that, I'm going to get off from here, and I hope somebody picks up on it. And I would hope that some of this miserable fighting can go away, and we can get back to what we initially wanted to do, and that was help build a channel back up. And actually, it's a family. My heart and prayers are out there for John and Michelle and Harley. My intent is and has been, let's get this family back on their feet. Let's help them down this path that most of us have enjoyed. Let's share of ourselves and help them along. If we can all do that, this is going to be a happier place. And we can't let something like this come in there and destroy how we feel about each other, because that's exactly what happened lately. People get extremely upset and butthurt over just 2 or 3 words. So let's try to back off. Let's try to go back our own way. And I tell you what, let's all pray that David can explain himself to Lisa in a manner that's acceptable to both of them. And then let's hope that joyous reunion, if so it would happen, can happen to the people that were in the chats, the people that got mad at each other, that they can do the same thing. Let's just get back to being the person we were before all this happened. When it happened, I'm going to tell you, I was pretty upset. But there's nothing I could do at the time, and there's nothing I can really do now. I've expressed my feelings out here, how I feel about it. It's no threat or anything. I hope it comes off as halfway good sense. This drawing lines in the sand and stuff, it don't work out. All that is a challenge. Let's not do that to each other. Let's do like I have with others. Let's just agree to disagree and go about our daily lives and get back in the groove like we were. And let's have that same goal, which was to help a family out that needed it. You'll feel a lot better than fighting with each other. I guarantee you that. In my channel, you're still welcome to come in here and we can talk this stuff out. As long as we're not nasty about it, we can express and say, well, I don't like somebody and, they were mean to me. And, well, maybe we can get a meeting of the minds so that we don't have to be mean to each other. Find out the root of the cause. All this fighting is going on. And believe me, the root of the cause goes way back to gifts and then misunderstanding of the gifts. And, it grew out of that and people got butthurt. plain and simple. Don't let this thing get out of hand. You know, we're not going to make this into a neighbor dispute, are we? All right, with that, go ahead down there in the comments. Make the comments that you want, your expression, how you feel about it. But try not to make an enemy out of doing it. Please don't. Don't do that. Just put on there what you expect so that you can feel better about the whole situation rather than attack what you see. Let's come up with a situation where we can fix it. Because maybe there's one or two of you, or maybe all of you, have the right thing it takes to fix it. And we'll do that then if we can. And I'm trying to come up with something for this coming Saturday. I just don't think this subject would be a good one to do it because I think it would blow up in our face. I don't know what else to say. We'll come up with something for next Saturday. If nothing else, it'd be something about good food for supper or breakfast or whatever. Camping trips, fishing trips, things that we can smile and laugh about without getting upset with each other. With that, I'm going to use, John's sayings out there. I don't know if he's got, does he have this copyrighted? Because I don't want to violate copyrights. Oh, by the way, John, I'm talking about you, John Cook. I heard today that you were elderly and obviously have disabilities or something to that extent. And I'm thinking, wow, this guy that said that, I wonder what he thinks about me. You're younger than my kids, or at least some of my kids. So, holy mackerel. I must have 1 foot, into that 6-foot hole or something. Anyway, I'm going to use your saying, with your permission. That is, I want to say goodbye, but I'm going to say ta-ta, everybody.